And there I was the girl from Suits.
This One's Wife. The Fash-On verdict. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. This One's Wife made an appearance in the Caroline Herrera dress. What was the reaction to this? Well, Tamara Abraham, who is the Fash-On editor at The Telegraph, wrote as follows. After a string of solo appearances from her husband Prince Harry, the Duchess of Sussex made one of her own on Saturday night at the 2024 Children's Hospital Los Angeles Gala. Her vibrant red gown was by Carolina Herrera from the label's pre-fall 2022 collection, featuring a deep U-shaped neckline and thigh-high slit. It couldn't be further from the more reserved looks This One's Wife was required to wear as a working royal. Clearly, she's still relishing the sartorial freedom she's enjoyed since moving to the United States. If you think the dress looks familiar, it is. This One's Wife wore it for the first time in November 2021 at the Salute to Freedom Gala. The gown has undergone a significant transformation since then. The full fairy tale overskirt of the 2021 outing has been removed, leaving just the sleek, minimal column dress that had been underneath. Getting an old evening gown altered to look more current is a style strategy for which This One's Wife's sister-in-law, the Princess of Wales, has become famous. Image consultant Annabelle Holden states that This One's Wife may not appreciate the comparison with Catherine, but evidence that she has adopted the same practice with one of her own go-to labels can only be a good thing. She believes it's an improvement on the original dress. The overskirt was rather matronly, she says. There will have been a fitting for the removal of the skirt top layer and a number of alteration options considered, but there was no surplus material to create a flattering drape. There is nowhere to put a dart or a ruche, and the fabric has no stretch. It's worth noting that the Duchess has been criticised in the past for wearing poorly fitting or creased clothes, but the slight volume at the hips in this case appears to be intentional. It's a clever way to create the illusion of a smaller waist, while also allowing a little more freedom of movement. This more streamlined look with the front slit could not easily be tighter, as it would pull when walking or bending over, Holden explains. However, she gives the look her seal of approval. This One's Wife has an incredible eye for stylish dressing, excuse me, and would not make the mistake of an ill-fitting dress. This One's Wife debuted a new hair look on Saturday too. Usually she prefers a low bun or loose straightened hair, so these glossy curls, am I looking at the same photograph, with the centre parting, are a departure from what we've seen in the past. It's a totally different look for her, says Zoe Irwin, creative director at John Frieda. What struck me the most is how young she looks all of a sudden. Nothing to do with surgery. The trend Irwin has already identified as the next big thing. We're calling this La Belle Bohème, she says. I always like this kind of hair juxtaposed against the minimalist silhouette of the dress. This look is nothing like the beachy boho waves we aspired to in the early 2000s, though. It's sleeker, with far less volume. It's inspired by the modern boho look spearheaded by new Chloe creative director Jamina Kamali. The key ingredient, Irwin says, is gloss. The reason it's of the moment is the high amount of shine in the hair, she says. You need to use a very substantial load of very lightweight oil through the hair when you're blow drying it. The overall verdict, she looks great, although it's probably not the easiest dress in which to sit down, and those Aquazzura sandals are not the easiest shoes in which to stand for a long period of time. But as a red carpet moment on its own, she's nailed it. Well, that's the view and feedback that has come courtesy of The Telegraph. She's nailed it. What about those below the line? A quick dive to see if they agree. Peter Bradshaw thinks she's so desperate for attention it would be cornrows next. Bettina Thwaite is chalk and cheese. Catherine could look classy and chic in a black plastic bin liner. This One's Wife looks tacky in even the most expensive of outfits. Anthony Galvin, how could you ever compare the two as the same? Much more appropriate as the antithesis. One is class, the other is Hollywood wannabe. Susan W. Tucconi, the dress known as the burst tomato. Clearly, somebody who's been watching my work. Nicholas Dixon, why does she wear such awful, ill-fitting clothes? Esther Harper, OMG, are we looking at the same photos? What an ill-fitting mess. Far worse than the original, if that is possible. It was dreadful with that awful train. Odo, rough as a baboon's backside. Oh, dear. Joanna Blizzard, please, no more. She looks awful. This turned the milk on my cornflakes sour. Not many complimentary observations to be found there, completely at odds with what the supposed Fash-On experts that the Telegraph consulted with had to state. But I thought that in the interests of balance it would be useful to ask some Fash-On experts myself what they thought about it all. Here are their observations.
Hello, I am Jenny Talia, and I am Chief Fashion Correspondent for Wear It, Wing It. Well, what can I say about the latest outfit as worn by Meghan Markle? I immediately experienced deja vu, and then I realized that was because I had seen her wearing this outfit before, but with more back fat and more burst tomato vibes. The last time she wielded this monstrosity was in 2021, and it did her no favors back then. She looked like she was ready to join a rugby match with those shoulders on display and had her hair pulled back tighter than Ariana Grande. It did not work then, but does it work now? In a word? No. In a sound? Her. In a sentence. It looks like what a hooker would wear if she found herself taken from Ho's Corner and invited to a black tie ball, and she thought this was the most stylish outfit available. I mean, how on earth would she sit down in it? That said, I understand she did not even get inside to the gala as she gate-crashed again, so all she could do was parade up and down in her red gift-wrapped dress, flapping her oversized flipper hands as she attempted to do stylish. Listen, I have seen better-dressed corpses at the embalming salon than what she turned up in. I have witnessed more elegant curtains at a brothel than the material she sported. It is a big no from me.
Well, it's clear that Jenny Talia is not a fan of this particular look by this one's wife. In the article, reference was made to her hair, and it was described as a totally different look for her, and that it made her look younger, that apparently it's La Belle Bohème, and the amount of shine that's in the hair. Well, I thought, therefore, it would be appropriate to hear from somebody else who is a hairstylist for their observations on the hairstyle that this one's wife was sporting.
Hi, my name is Beau Dry, and I am head stylist at Curl Up and Dye, the hair salon of this millennium. I have been asked to appraise the hairstyle that Meghan Markle wore recently to the Children's Hospital Los Angeles this past weekend. Well, it is clear she should have booked with us. I mean, who on earth told her it was a good idea to slaughter 20 rats and fix their tails to her scalp? What a straggly mess. I fully expect Sasquatch to come climbing out of that morass of mess. She added, more shine? What with? Boot polish? Look, I have seen drunk bag ladies with better hairstyles than that abomination. Take it from me, I went past the drag through a hedge backwards championships at Little Wallop, and every competitor had a hairstyle that was more attractive and appealing than that. I have no idea who is advising her about how she styles her hair, but I would suggest that opening their eyes would be a good start. I started itching just by looking at it, and of course she could not help but play with it, because it takes on a life of its own. Probably because just like Medusa, those tresses, and I use the word in its most elastic sense, are closer to snakes than hair. Darling, remove the picture, I feel unclean.
Oh dear, according to Beau Dry, another failure in the hairstyling stakes for this one's wife. It's not going too well for her. But let's see if somebody else felt that the dress suited her and that it was appropriate for her to wear it on that occasion. Let's invite another expert to provide us with their view.
Hi there. I am Holly Sheet, and I have been asked to appraise Meghan Markle's choice of dress that she wore to the recent Children's Hospital LA Gala. Well, let me start by saying it was rather worrying that children were in the vicinity of this attention-seeking getup. That slit went up so high I could still see Marcus Anderson's fingerprints on her inner thigh, and sweet saints preserve us, what was going on with the neckline? What was it meant to collect? Harry's drool? Disgusting. Now, I am not one to criticize a lady if she is not sporting a lot upstairs. No, I don't mean Meghan's brain cells. But she is not exactly packing in the boob department, which is fair enough. But if that is the case, why choose a dress which has the effect of making it look like 2 deflated red balloons had been stapled to your chest? Horrendous. I get it, she does not have the figure, but there are some dresses that would work for her. But I guess those had been suggested to her and rejected. Instead, she decided that she wanted to go tomato again. At least this time, it was less burst tomato and more little tomatoes on the vine. It is not a look that works for her, but I suppose for once she was not wearing beige.
Well, that's another Fash-On failure for this one's wife, with the Fash-On verdict from our 3 experts. But what did you think about it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.